Good morning, children. Today we have the topic elasticity of supply. Write down the definition for elasticity of supply. Elasticity of supply is written as E and the small x below that. So, elasticity of supply is a measure of the degree. It is a measure of the degree of responsiveness of supply of a commodity to the change in price. To the change in price. Formula-wise, elasticity of supply is equal to percentage or proportionate change in quantity supplied upon percentage or proportionate change in price. So elasticity of supply is equal to percentage or proportionate change in quantity supplied upon percentage or proportionate change in price. Next, degrees or forms of elasticity of supply. Degree or forms of elasticity of supply. First is perfectly elastic supply, where ES will be greater is equal to infinity. Second, perfectly inelastic supply, ES is equal to 0. Third, highly elastic supply, where ES is greater than 1. Fourth, highly inelastic supply, where ES is less than 1. And fifth, unit elastic supply, ES equals 1. So there are 5 degrees or forms of elasticity of supply. Okay, let's take them one at a time and understand them. First one, perfectly elastic supply. First, perfectly elastic supply. Write down the definition. When The supply of a commodity, when the supply of a commodity rises or falls to any extent without any change or with very little change in its price, the supply of that commodity is said to be perfectly elastic. Here, price there is no change, but what is it? Supply may increase or decrease. Price is constant. Let us take a unit. This P and quantity supplied. Price is 10 and 10, and we can have 10, 11. The price is constant again 9. We know elasticity of supply is the percentage change in quantity supplied upon percentage change in price. Change 9 upon 10 is how much? 1. 1 upon 10 into 100, that is equal to 10%. Here it is 10%. Change in price 0, so that is equal to infinity. When we draw the diagram, price being whatever it is, you will always get a horizontal line parallel to the x-axis. It may increase or may decrease. This is when perfectly elastic supply. Price is constant. The supply may increase or decrease. Second, perfectly inelastic supply. Perfectly inelastic supply. When the quantity supplied of a commodity does not change at all in response to a change increase or decrease in the price of a commodity, the supply for that commodity is said to be perfectly inelastic. Here what happens? Price may increase, price may decrease, but supply remains constant. Let us see this 9, 10, 11. The price may rise or fall, but the quantity will remain the same, as 700 units. So here it will be 0 upon 9 to 11. Is how much? 11 sorry, 10, 9. Put this 10, 9, and 11. From 10 drops and 9 it increases. Okay. 1 upon 10 into 100 is 10%. That is equal to 0. 0 upon 10% is equal to 0%. Now, how will you draw the diagram? You have the x and the y axis. Okay, in this case, your supply curve will be absolutely vertical with price either increasing or decreasing, increasing or decreasing, P1, P2. Okay, how much is the increase and decrease? 10%. So you will have a vertical, the quantity supply, this is the price. The supply curve will be vertical or parallel to the y-axis. You can write down it is an imaginary situation. It is an imaginary situation. Third, highly elastic supply. When the percentage of proportionate change in quantity supply of a commodity is more than the percentage of proportionate change in this price it is termed as highly elastic supply. The price, let us say 10, 11, 9, 10, 12, 8. Now see here, quantity from 10 comes to A, that is 2. It will be 2 upon 10 into 100. That is 20%. Either way, so this is 20%. From 10 it becomes 9. That is 1 upon 10 into 100. That is equal to 10%. This cuts becomes 2. So, highly elastic is when ES is greater than 1. Okay, here you will find ES is greater than 1. Diagram. We have the X and the Y axis. The supply curve will be somewhere around here. The price, let us say here, increases. The quantity is more, that is 20%, and this is 10%. Okay. This is 20%. This is Q, this is Q1. Quantity supply. Here you write down the supply curve is flatter. The supply curve is flatter, and ES will be greater than 1. That was the third. Fourth, highly inelastic supply. When the percentage or proportionate change in quantity supplied of a commodity is less than the percentage or proportionate change in its price, it is termed as highly inelastic supply. Okay. Now what do we see? Percentage change in quantity supply from 10 comes down to 9, that is 1 upon 10, that is 10%. Change in price from 10 becomes 8, 2 upon 10, that is 20%. That is equal to 0.5. In this case, ES is less than 1. Diagram. This supply curve. E and Q price increases. The price is more, 20%. Quantity is 10%. This you write, the supply curve is steeper. The supply curve is steeper. In this, the supply curve is steeper and ES is less than 1. And the fifth degree is unit elastic supply. When the percentage of proportionate change in quantity supplied of a commodity is equal to the percentage change in its price then it is termed as unit elastic supply Look at this, 10.9. Change in quantity supplied from 10 becomes 9, that is 1, 10%. Similarly, from 10 becomes 9 upon 10%, that is equal to 1. Elasticity of supply is equal to 1. The diagram in this case, the supply will be absolutely from the same as price increases quantity also. This also is 10% and this is also 10%. Okay, so these are the 5 degrees, or also we call the forms of elasticity of supply. Perfectly elastic supply, where the elasticity ES is equal to infinity. Second was perfectly inelastic supply where ES is equal to 0. Third, highly elastic supply where ES is greater than 1. Highly inelastic supply where ES is less than 1. And the unit elastic supply where ES is equal to 1. Now, based on these degrees of forms, when we do the numericals, we would be giving the result whether the supply is highly elastic, inelastic, depending on the 4 or 5 forms which we have just learned. So we will stop till here and we will continue now next Monday, because tomorrow onwards is statistics. And Thursday and Friday we will do statistics. And so we stop till here and we meet again with the numericals of this elasticity of supply. So all of you have a nice day. Be safe.